What's good, planty peeps? My name is Lily, and welcome to Peace Lily Plants. Got a little caught up with my hair there. So anyway, I haven't filmed a Faves and Fails video in a few months now. Realistically, it's because every time I think like, oh, I should film my March favorites and fails. I should do an April favorites and fails. The month just goes by so fast, I don't have time to keep up with it. So we're filming one for May, and let's hope that I can get this edited and uploaded on time. Before we dive right into it, please go ahead and like this video. Yeah, I haven't watched it, but you're probably gonna like it. I mean, we're just gonna be looking at the plants that I love right now, and the plants that I don't love right now. And also subscribe to my channel for more planty content. So my first fave for you this month is actually, believe it or not, a Hoya. If you know anything about me, have been around this channel for a while, you will know that I'm not that great at Hoya. I'm much better at things like philodendron and epipremnum and a lot of other stuff, but not Hoya. But I'm getting a little bit better, believe it or not. We have 2 Hoyas on the faves list today. Aren't you proud of it, girl? So this first one, I'm so delightfully surprised. This is my Hoya Matilde, and you see it's shooting off this vine right here, and got a couple new leaves happening in there. History of this plant: I bought 2 different cuttings off Etsy maybe 6 months or more ago and potted them together, and it's been a waiting game ever since then. I would watch other plant tubers talk about how this is one of their fastest growing Hoya, that they have great luck with this Hoya, it's no trouble at all, etc. And I was frankly jealous because I was like, why will mine not do anything? I can't tell if it's happy, if it's sad, it's just existing. But, you know, I've heard in the past that Hoya can take a while to establish themselves and to just be patient and keep waiting, and eventually something will happen. And finally, that is happening with this specimen. So, like I said, it's been in this pot for over 6 months, didn't do anything. All of a sudden, this spring, is growing like a weed. So now that it has decided to come to life, and it's actually growing pretty prolifically at this point, like I see there's 1 new leaf, 2 baby leaves, and you can see on the vines there's going to be more and more and more. I'm hoping that now I'm going to have that same experience other plant tubers have of this just being a Hoya that's really easy and that grows really fast. The other Hoya that is a favorite of mine right now is my variegated Hoya Hindu root. Now, interesting contrast, because plant tubers have said that Hoya Matilde grows really fast. This Hoya variegated Hindu root is the exact opposite. It grows very slowly, but I'm fine with that. You know, whatever. It's growing, it's happy, it's alive. It's been doing pretty well for a while now, but the reason that it is one of my favorites right now, look at that pink. Oh my gosh. So I, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I moved this into more light. Like, it was already in pretty bright light, but I really put it right in a southern facing window. So I was thinking to myself, I'm trying to get that pink sun stressing. And it is finally happening. Well, I shouldn't say finally, because it's only been 2 or 3 months. It is happening, people. It is getting that beautiful sun stressing that I was wanting. So I think that is honestly my favorite quality of a lot of Hoya, the fact that they are capable of sun stressing these beautiful rich colors. Like I'm looking at a few I have over here, like burgundy pink and brown and this lighter pink And the Crimson Princess is also this lighter pink. So very, very happy about that, and just hoping that as it sits in that southern facing window day in and day out for all of summer, because it's only May right now, hopefully, you know, through the rest of May and June, July, August, maybe by September, a bunch of this will have turned pink. Wouldn't that be awesome? Another favorite of mine right now is nothing to write home about in some ways. It's not some kind of fancy rare plant or anything. It is just this little succulent tray, which admittedly looked a little bit cooler when it had the cactus with the colorful bloom on top, but those things are a little bit difficult to keep alive in my experience. The other day, I rolled up to it, and for no seeming reason, it just had kind of disintegrated and died. So I just picked it out and threw it away. Even without that, this is one of my favorites. I'm scared to do too much pulling and stuff because I could very easily pull my propagations out of here. But two that I've added in recently are a silver string of hearts that you see right here I'm pointing at with my right hand, and where are you? String of arrows. Try to pull this back a little bit. Hopefully you can see in there is a string of arrows propagation as well, and both of those propagations are really taking off. I think it'll be really cool in the future to just have those string ofs trailing out of the pot along with the other stuff that's in it. I don't know what this little green succulent is, but it's a champ. It has grown a lot. So I would definitely recommend, if you're gonna make a succulent tray, to get this kind, whatever it is. And I stuck a few pieces of jade in there as well. It's hard to say if they have rooted or not. I don't know, but jade is one of the hardiest plants ever, so I'm sure that they will root and start growing eventually. I really, really, really want to make some more succulent trays. I want to put some in the pop-up shop because I think they'll be eye-catching and people will want them. And I want a couple more for myself. I just want to experiment and put different things together and see how it turns out. This is another favorite this month, just good old classic philodendron micans. Might be a tad bit on the thirsty side at the moment, but ignore that. Can you believe how glorious this girl is? It's one of my favorites, simply because it is just growing like crazy and trailing all over the place and looking amazing. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's like I'm holding it up and it just kind of speaks for itself, you know. It is just so beautiful. Such an easy, rewarding plant. I have three of these, but this is the one that looks the most beautiful right now, although the other two look really good too. So philodendron micans, gotta love it. Alocasia Polly, had to put her on the list because it is somewhat a similar story to the Hoya Matilda story. Well, not exactly the same, but similar. I've had this plant for about a year. It has lost multiple leaves, but it never grew a new one. So I was like, is it just going to die leaf by leaf and eventually leave me with nothing? It wouldn't be that surprising with an alocasia. They're mean. They're finicky biatches. So really, my specimen is nothing to write home about, but I had to put it on here because the biggest leaf was browning off and dying, and I was like, oh god, here we go again, losing yet another leaf. And guess what? It put off a new leaf after an entire year of not growing. So this shiny new baby girl is the new leaf, and I love it so much. This plant is difficult and not that rewarding, but look at it. It's so hard to resist. I feel like I just have to have at least a couple alocasia in my collection, even if they do give me a really hard time. This is my last favorite for today because it is just maybe my favorite plant I own right now, the most glorious plant I own right now. Yes, I did showcase this in my Where Are They Now video from a month or two ago. I don't care, I'm bombarding you with it again. This is my monster Adansonii. I think this is the wide form, although I'm only saying that just based on logic. I'm looking at the holes in it and being like, that they look wide. This is the wide form, right? There's just no words to describe how cool and interesting and beautiful this plant is, and my specimen specifically. Oh my gosh, the vibes, the freaking vibes. I just want to crawl inside of here and live here forever. So yeah, this is a favorite just because look at it. Look at it. Look at it. It's so gorgeous. We have a couple fails for this month. This is a Hoya that I've been struggling with for like 6 months now. It has died a very slow, painful death under my care. I feel a little bad about that, but then again, I'm starting to feel relieved that this will just be out of my life. And one less bit of failure, stress, sadness that I have to think about. So this is my Hoya curtisii. And I don't even know, man. I just have never been able to take good care of this plant. As I said, it's just died slowly. Repotting it, watering it more, watering it less. I mean, nothing has worked. Nothing at all. I bought it on Facebook and got the person to ship it to me. And I don't know, maybe it was just doomed from the start. Because I recall them saying that they had brought it back to health from being unhealthy. So I don't know, maybe the genetics just weren't great. Maybe it had already had a history. And so getting it to me just put it back on the struggle bus. I don't know, man. And it was funny because I had a video about the Hoyas I'm struggling with like 3 months ago. And the curtisii looked a lot better in that video than in this video. And somebody just commented on it and was like, I'll be happy to take it if you want to ship it to me. And I'm like, if only you had offered that a couple months ago before I just completely destroyed it. So yeah, it's funny because a lot of people say if you're not good at string govs, then go for a Hoya curtisii. It has the vibes of string govs, but it's easier. And my experience has been the opposite. Like, I've struggled so much with this plant. Again, maybe it's just this particular specimen. And I've done really well with string govs overall. So, different strokes for different folks, I guess. I'm kind of annoyed about this because I just bought this in that video where my mom and I went to Walmart in Reedsville. I just bought this like a month ago. And I picked it up today and like 2/3 of the plant just fell off onto the ground. So I'm thinking either I massively overwatered this or it's massively underwatered. On the one hand, I can imagine overwatering it because it's a succulent and it's in a plastic pot. Maybe it'd be really easy to overwater this plant. Then again, I actually cannot remember the last time that I watered my plants. Long story short, I used to water every week. Sometimes now I'll water more like every 10 days so that it's a schedule, yet it's not every week. You know, trying to get the best of both worlds there. because I really can't deal with not having any kind of watering schedule. It's too stressful. I thought it'd be fun maybe to put the water meter in it on camera and see, is it really wet? Is it really dry? You would think maybe I could tell from how heavy it is, but it feels average. Like, it doesn't feel light as a feather, but it doesn't feel super heavy either. I will say that there are some little babies coming off the top there, so I don't think all hope is lost, but I think I'm gonna put this more in my direct eyesight so that I can keep an eye on it and try to be mindful of the watering. So let's see, is it overwatered or underwatered? It says that it's like a 3 or 4. So it's not bone dry, but not soaking wet. What does this mean? I don't know. Yeah, so if you think you might know, feel free to let me know in the comments. What am I doing wrong? What should I do to help this guy out? Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Let me know in the comments what are the plants that you have that are either thriving right now or dying right now. I'd love to know. And one more thing, wherever you are and whatever your circumstances, bloom where you were planted, honey. See you in the next one. Bye.